Shh, we're going Easter egg hunting.
It's my happy day, I want to sing it all the day. My best friends are always with me. We sing, we dance, we laugh, we are happy every day. Have fun with us, let's say happy, 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 happy. Happy, 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 happy. It's my happy day, I want to sing it all the day. My best friends are always with me. We sing, we dance.
Shh, we're going Easter egg hunting.
It's my happy.
Rook guy Rook, he's so retarded. He's so retarded. So retarded. I can't. I bet you my new missile that this retard he can tell different from his asshole and his pee hole. Oh no! In my glorious country, even baby know which one for glory, which one for PP victory. But this guy so dumb he put wrong thing in wrong hole and no big boom, no big boom at all. So retarded. I can't believe it. Oh! So funny.
So funny. What's up, everybody? I got one more video to start off the show here real quick, which I really like, so I'm going to do this one, and then we'll get into the news.
Thank you,
Bandera de Venezuela, amarilla, azul y roja, tus 7 estrellas decoran nuestro honor. El corazón se acelera al ver que una cara airosa, triunfadora y victoriosa, cercana a la cordillera. Bandera de Venezuela, amarilla, azul y roja.
Yay, Trump is king. Trump is king. What's up, everybody? What's up? Oh, wait. I should have did this. I don't know why I keep having issues. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Sorry about last night. I was going to do a show Sunday night, and then I was like, should I start? Whatever. And then I saw Joe was going to go, so I was like, screw it. I won't go. Take one night off a week. What do you say? What do you say? Can you guys hear my computer sounds really loud to me? Why is my computer sound so loud? Hold on. I got to make some adjustments here. Sorry. Let me try to fix this. My fans are just going crazy on my computer. I don't get it. I don't even know. I don't understand it. Much better. Much better now. Much better now. Dustin the fan? No, I mean, it's all liquid cooled, but the fans are going crazy. Like, I don't know, something must have happened where I had to change it to just for the temperature to coolant as opposed to the temperature of the CPU. So let's see who's here tonight. Man, I got a lot of people here. A lot of people here. Mr. Sneaky Sean was first. How you doing? Howdy. And then Brian Ogden, perfect timing. I can relax for a minute. But then he said, I'm not going to relax for long. He goes, I'm going to start it off right away with some...
Tactical.
Oh, wait. Wrong button, damn it. With $5 for Bella. And so that means that we are $5 closer to a goal tonight. And as this show is every night, it works the same way. Everybody knows. For every $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, becoming a member or gifting members on YouTube or Rumble, Twitch, Kick, Locals Coins, also Instagram, I don't know, Facebook has Star or something like that, whatever. But and also we also have Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, Super Tips on. It's pinned in the chat, and there's QR codes that'll be randomly on the screens. I'll switch here and there. We add it all up when we hit 100. We activate an extra hour. And then for every 100 that comes in, we get an additional extra hour to the show. So the show could be 2 hours long. It could be 3 hours long. It could be 4, 6, 8, 12, you name it. And as an added bonus, when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision for the evening. And there's Bella right there, just chilling out, just chilling like a villain, sleeping. All right. And that's when we hit 50. But if anyone is so generous enough to donate an individual donation of $25 or greater, that could be like a $25 Cash App or PayPal or a Super Chat or Rumble Rant or even 5 gifted memberships on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, or Kick, anything like that, would automatically activate Bellavision for the evening. So with the $5 for Brian Ogden to start a Bella, that means we are now just $95 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and just $45 away from Bellavision for the evening. So thank you so much, Brian. All right, Mr. Sean, looking for a great show. Pat Hacker, woohoo, what's up? Trump endorsed Hilton for governor of California. Yes, he did. Iowa Backyard Cans, great to see you. Michelle, how you doing? Yeah, I seen, but Chad Bianco's a far better choice. Yeah, but I think there might be a little bad blood between Trump and that sheriff. I'm not 100% sure, but I can remember, if I remember correctly, there was something going on there. Hey, OTR Smokehouse, what's up? Great to see you. Yes, please remember to hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit that like button. It does really help with the algorithm to push us out to more people. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We've been doing pretty good lately, adding subscribers. Chad Bianco, bad decision. Okay. What's up? Jason says, what's your thoughts on the theory spread on Twitter that the rescuing pilots was failed uranium operation? That's literally retarded. I mean, that's literally retarded. We went and got the pilot successfully. Hey, what's up, Bartavello? How you doing? Let's go. What's up? Where's Elmer Fudd when you need him? Yeah. We didn't make an airstrip for nothing. Yeah. No, the airstrip was to land to get the guy out, I think. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. If we were going after the uranium that we thought was in Isfahan, why would we have done all this 50 miles away from it? That's kind of far to go for something. Like, anyway. Sofa King, yeah. Dems have certainly laid some eggs lately. Yes, they am. Gundam's Egg, what's up? Great to see you. I be here, but not able to guarantee how long-term consciousness. What's up, Jody? Thanks for ticking the plussy. That's awesome. The Finch, what's up? Great to see you. Martain, Dustin the Fan, what's up? Hey, Lisa, what's up? Great to see you. Terry, awesome to see you. Brooklyn, awesome. What great news over the weekend. There's some great news coming. Do you accept bits of string? Well, it depends, as long as there's some beads or something on those bits of string. It was good news, yes. Hey, what's up, America First? How you doing? Hello. Tomorrow, Trump is going to put Iran back in the Stone Age. We'll see. The puppy is sleeping already for the night. Oh, yes, he is. I didn't even realize that the puppy was still up there. Hey, Anne-Marie, great to see you. Yes, we will see. Bianco was a BLM kneeler. Yeah, he was. I hope Bianco gets the election stuff done. Hey, what's up, Phil? Great to see you. Hey, I'm late. I can watch tonight. Hey, that's no problem. Hey, Hank, what's up, buddy? Great to see you. So beads on strings, of course. Weren't you in the Navy? I will take the, the beads. That way when I go to Mardi Gras, I have something to pass out. All right, let's get into the first news story of the evening. I'm doing things a little different tonight. I have some stories which are not related to Iran at all. How's that sound? Let's do this. So, the Artemis II astronauts traveled farther from Earth than any humans in history, allegedly, breaking Apollo 13 record set more than 50 years ago. Man. See? Yeah, see? Humanity on Monday traveled farther. Damn StreamYards changed the layout and moved the tab things. They used to be off to the left. Now they're in the center, so it's hard to find. Absent Minded, what's up, buddy? Great to see you. Jim strikes me as the kind who catches the beads and lifts his shirt. Humanity on Monday traveled farther than ever in space when Artemis II broke the record set more than 50 years ago by Apollo 13. Oh, Kevin says, hey, Jim, that's my favorite shirt. Well, thanks. Artemis II's 4 astronauts zoomed past Apollo 13's 248,655 mile mark around 1:56 p.m. Eastern Time, reaching 248,656 miles after their aircraft hurtled past the moon at nearly 2,000 miles an hour. Hey, what's up? Well, whoa, Half Irish, how you doing? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, Jonathan Marcos has sent you a PayPal. Well, thank you. And he did. Jonathan Marcos sent a $10 PayPal. That means we are now $85 away from adding a first extra hour to the show and just $35 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Yes, thanks, Jonathan. Thank you. Then hours later, shortly after 7 p.m., the crew set a new record for the farthest distance humans have traveled from Earth at a staggering 252,756 miles. The astronauts then begin their long journey back to Earth. So they are on the gravity pull. They do like it's a slingshot maneuver. They go around, they loop around, and then come back. It's like called a free return path. So they can just zoop around and then go out, and then you get like the free return energy. I thought they traveled a lot faster than 22,000 miles an hour. Like I thought they were going like 19,000 miles an hour just to get out of Earth's gravity. So then they slowed down. Why did they slow down? Oh, look at this. We got a gifted membership from Ank. Thank you so much, Ank. It's called the Hohmann Transfer Orbit. And it says Kevin Prostaro received a gifted membership from Ank. Well, thanks, Ank, for the gifted membership for Kevin. That means, folks, that we are just $79 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and $29 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. I think I put stupid guy talking on X. Escape velocity is roughly 25,000 miles per hour. Yeah, so why did they slow down? There is still technically drag in space, Jim. Is it really? I always thought they said things just, if once you got something going in space, it just kept going. And it kept accelerating. I guess I was lied to all the times. Hey, what's up, the Finch? How you doing? Great to see you. Current speed is below 1,000 miles an hour, but it's creeping up. The minimum velocity for a complete orbit around the Earth is 7.8 kilometers a second or 17,500 miles per hour. There's drag in low Earth orbit. Oh, America First says bombing civilian infrastructure is a war crime and any soldier carrying out is violation of the law. We can't not talk about an issue because we don't want disagreement. Well, here's the thing. It's only a war crime if it doesn't have a dual use. All right, we'll address this right now. If they're using those power plants or the bridges to transfer weapons or to get power to build missiles or bombs, then it's a legitimate target. That's the rules of war. It would have to be like, if it was like a hospital, well, you can't bomb a hospital. If it was a power plant that only fed a hospital, then you couldn't touch the power plant. But if it's a power plant that they're using to power the hospital and a weapons factory that's building missiles, then it's a legit target. And if it's bridges that they use to move troops around and that transfer troops across places and stuff that's not used by the people, because most of the bridges, let's be real here, most of the bridges in Iran are not used by the civilian population. They can't afford to use them. They're not allowed. The minimum escape velocity of a rocket leaves Earth's gravitational pull is 25,000 miles an hour. Earth's gravity reaches, you want sub-escape velocity because that means going by without turning and pedal to the metal back. Or heavy water, yeah. I mean, anything like that. Heavy water plants like that. If it's a heavy water reactor plant, well, it creates stuff that they could build bombs with. So, these are some nice pictures, allegedly. Artemis crew sees the moon on the far side, never before seen by human eyes. Wait a minute. How could they say that the far side of the moon's never seen before by human eyes when didn't other manned spacecrafts circle around the moon before? What are they talking about? I mean, I don't understand. The extraordinary record breaker occurred nearly 56 years ago to the day that Apollo 13 set their April 14th, 1970, as the troubled spacecraft used the moon's gravity to slingshot itself back to Earth without using any of its waning power after suffering an onboard explosion. Crashed? What crashed? Russia has crashed on the backside of the moon. China did. I don't understand this. Iran is a fortified military country. There's no part of Iran that's not subject to providing military support. You know. Phil says, the parts of the moon they're looking at hasn't been seen. 90 million people live there. How many, are we really going to do this? I mean, I don't want to get into this. What was the military significance of Hiroshima or Nagasaki? What was the military significance of Tokyo when we firebombed it? Or Dresden when we firebombed it? What was the military significance of all of the German countryside that we systematically firebombed, destroying crops, farms, and everything else to try to starve out the country? It was war, man. I don't know. Pearl Harbor. Oh, manufacturing. Okay, so we took out manufacturing. So that's why you would take out bridges and other stuff to stop the manufacturing. See? Same thing. Kind of funny they forget and remember the Apollo program in one news story. It is, right? It is. It is. Yeah, so the distance record was set just minutes after the capsule made its closest approach to the moon, around 4,067 miles in altitude. They were chosen because they didn't have any previous bombing damage and they could know how much damage was done. Yes. Guess so as not to go into orbit. Oh, you're talking about that's why they were so far away, so they didn't go into orbit around the moon? Okay. Bill says Hiroshima was location of the headquarters of the IJN and the army defending southern Japan and was always going to be the first city targeted because of its geography. The crew was also busy during that time making observations of the moon during their historic lunar flyby, which will reveal swaths of the moon. Who wrote this? This is friggin' AI. Look at this. The crew was also busy during that time making observations of the moon during their historic lunar flyby, which revealed swaths of the moon's far side never before seen by human eyes. Tokyo was taken off the nuke list because some general had his honeymoon there. What about May Lai? Oh, May Lai. The one thing they like to bring up that happened, 60 years ago, 65 years ago? I want to bring that up, May Lai. The My Lai massacre. Whatever happened with that? Did anyone ever go to jail for that? I know there was somebody who ended up getting released because, I'm trying to remember what his name was, a lieutenant or something like that they tried to pin it all on and basically found out that he didn't do anything wrong and they had to let him go. Can't remember his name. It'll come to me in a minute. Sweet Daydreams 2026 says, good evening all. Where is Bella? Bella is here. Okay, she's right there, but Bella Vision hasn't been activated yet. Callie, that's right. Lieutenant Callie. We haven't paid the ransom yet. That's right. The cruise orbited while the far side has partially been seen by human eyes, beginning on Apollo 8. Much of it remained hidden in shadow throughout the Apollo program. Okay. Phil says, Mr. Sneaky Sean, that was Kyoto, and it was Secretary of State Stimson who honeymooned there. Those crews orbited the moon for days at the time and passed over the far side, but the missions were timed so that the sun was shining on the near side landing sites, which left the far side largely obscured as the capsules passed over it. Artemis II saw the entirety of the far side during its flyby, with the moon appearing about the size of a basketball held at arm's length out the cabin windows. Wow. The flyby began at 2:45 p.m. and was scheduled to last around 9:20 p.m. Those hours were spent putting the crew's training to the test. They dimmed the cabin lights and worked in shifts, observing the moon from the windows while extensively detailing everything they saw. They described hues of green and brown. Got a scratch on my glasses. Hues of green and brown showing up from the lunar soil, as well as patches of white inside of craters they say were brighter than snow on Earth. I wonder if that's some kind of gas or something coming out of the moon. It could be. There could have been some kind of gases or something. Andy Gorski says Hiroshima was an embarkation point and industrial center that was the site of a major military headquarters. Nagasaki was put on the list in place of Kyoto. It was a major military port, one of Japan's largest shipbuilding and repair centers, an important producer of naval ordnance. Listening to some of the interviews on NASA, you would think no men have anything to do with it. Earthside 2, lots of theater kids working. Yeah, that's per Wikipedia. Okay. Are we going to talk about how the moon is really a space station? We could. The moon farts, Jim. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Giant ant mounds. Ever seen the first men in the moon? Yeah, well, after we talk about some of this stuff with the moon, we're going to bring up some other stuff about the moon. Those white patches were even compared to shining pinpricks in a lampshade by astronaut Christina Koch, while the crater-battered terrain was described as impossibly rugged and alien. Huh. Alien. You don't say. I know. I got it, Brian. You set the Alex Jones. Thank you. I said that's what I was talking about when I said we'll talk about some stuff after this. I appreciate it. And with that, that means we are now $77 away from adding a first additional hour to the show, and 27 away from Bella Vision. Thank you so much. FFS, the moon is a cheese-wrapped dude. Okay. Okay, I get it now. I wonder if they saw the Nazi moon bases. I've seen a documentary that in Dark Skies. Yes. Jim loves Alex Jones. I do like Alex Jones. I do. The mission was able to break Apollo 13's record by using the same trick of orbital mechanics to get back home. After whizzing around the moon on Monday, the capsule will use the lunar gravity and its momentum to fling itself home without needing to fire its thrusters thrusters beyond a small trajectory correction. Yes. Perfect place for a base, free energy. Yeah. The capsule will leave the moon's gravitational sphere of influence on Tuesday afternoon and will be pulled home by Earth's gravity from there. Splashdown in the Pacific Ocean expected to be off San Francisco at 8:07 p.m. if everything goes according to plan between now and then. Sorry, Iron Sky, not Dark Sky. And then the race will be on to walk on the moon once again. Artemis III is scheduled to test out rendezvous procedures with the new lunar lander from Earth's orbit in 2027, and Artemis IV is expected to put people on the moon again by 2028. Wow. It'll be the first time in 56 years that man has walked on the moon since Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt and then Gene Cernan left the surface in 1972. Boil water in the sunlight and condense it back to water in the shades. Steam generators. Trump is currently thanking the crew. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Then OAN just says Artemis sends Earth farther from Earth than ever before, surpassing Apollo 13. Same story. For 56 years, the crew of Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes held the record for the farthest humans had ever traveled from Earth due to their free return loop after an oxygen tank explosion forced them to abort their mission moon landing. The Artemis II crew, consisting of NASA astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen, one of the Hansen brothers. Cool lasers with no problem. Childhood memories of space travels. Has officially surpassed the distance record. The peak distance will be achieved after the Orion capsule makes its closest approach to the moon, passing roughly 4,070 miles above the lunar surface during their 7-hour flyby. Due to the specific solar alignment of the mission, the crew is able to view and document the surface areas of the moon under lighting conditions that reveal details never before seen firsthand by human eyes. That would make us lunar colonists, won't it? It could. Good. Damn colonizers, man. New record.
Yeah, from the cabin of integrity here as we surpass the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from planet Earth. We do so in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors in human space exploration. We will continue our journey even further into space before Mother Earth succeeds in pulling us back to everything that we hold dear.
Yes.
But we, most importantly, choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you know what else he said? He said, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Who here thinks the moon mission is fake? Finally, the Obama space missions have some accomplishments other than SpaceX going to the ISS. Yes. Cash and Carry, what's up, buddy? I watched all that I could about the space program in the 60s and 70s. Turned 10 and 70. There was a lot of probes sent everywhere in our solar system. Oh, yeah, we were sending stuff all over the place. You know, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. Mm-hmm. Giving her all she's got, Captain. The record-breaking distance occurred during Artemis II's planned communication blackout, which lasted approximately 41 minutes while the moon's mass blocked all radio and laser signals between Orion spacecraft and the Earth. Mm-hmm. During the flyby, the 4 astronauts divided in pairs to rotate through intensive observation shifts, while one pair focused on mission operations and physical exercise. Using high-resolution zoom lenses and handheld digital camera, the crew also documented specific geological targets on the lunar far side while recording detailed visual descriptions and nuances in the terrain that are often difficult for robotic sensors to detect. When not behind the moon, the crew maintained an active dialogue with lunar scientists in Houston, relaying insights as they explored the free return trajectory, the same gravity-driven path used by Apollo 13. In addition to their lunar research, the astronauts witnessed a unique solar eclipse caused by the moon passing directly in front of the sun from their perspective, using specialized protective eyewear to observe the sun's corona during the 53-minute occultation. Mm-hmm. Oh, see another one?
Decisions I've ever made. So we're very proud of Space Force, and we're very proud of all of you. Does anybody else have anything to say? A lot of people listening.
Oh, this is live.
Mr. President, to be here with you speaking about our incredible day today. I think one of the biggest highlights was coming back from the far side of the moon and having the first glimpses of planet Earth again after being out of communication for about 45 minutes. It really just reminds you what a special place we have and how important it is for our nation.
It does spin. It spins.
To lead and not follow in exploring.
So they wore
deep
eclipse
space.
glasses.
I'd like to ask, what was your feeling when you had no communication, zero communication? All of a sudden it was cut off by, obviously, your very special location. What was your feeling when you had no communication? A little bit different, perhaps.
Yes, Mr. President, it was cold. I said a little prayer, but then I had to keep rolling. I was actually recording scientific observations of the far side of the moon. You know, that is actually the time when we were the farthest and the closest to the moon. And so we were really able to make some of our most detailed observations of the far side of the moon up close. And so we were busy up here working really hard. And I must say, it was actually quite nice.
Did you see a difference, a big difference, between the far side of the moon and the near side of the moon? Was there a difference in feel or difference in look? What did you see?
Well, Mr. President, we certainly did, and our science team really set us up well to understand what they thought we might see. And the gravitational pull of the Earth has had a profound effect on the near side of the moon, changing all those dark mares, those dark patches of the moon you see from Earth. It's very different on the far side. While you see some small patches of those mare in deep craters, it's very much absent on that side, so that's really neat. And while I have the microphone, sir, I just want to thank you on behalf of Canada. The space leadership you spoke of from America truly is extraordinary. I've said this many times before. A nation that leads like that and creates and sets big goals for humanity that brings other countries along with it is truly incredible. And I know that's a very intentional, not a necessary decision, intentional decision to lead by example and to allow other countries like Canada to share our gifts and help you achieve these mutually beneficial goals, like establishing a presence on the moon and eventually going to Mars. And Canadians are so proud to be a part of this program.
Well, I have to say I spoke to a very special person, Wayne Gretzky, who I think you know, the great one. And I spoke to your Prime Minister and many other friends I have in Canada. They are so proud of you. And you have a lot of courage. I'm not sure if they'd want to do that. I'm not even sure if the great one would want to do that, to be honest with you. But you have a lot of courage doing what you're doing, a lot of bravery and a lot of genius. But they're very, very proud of you.
It takes so long for the signal to go back and forth. I think that's what the delay is, right? Because it takes like a long time, like several seconds, like 20, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. That's why they're waiting. And okay, somebody say something. This is like the most expensive long distance call ever. You guys should be talking. July is going to be epic. Yeah. The moon is moving 1.5 inches away from Earth per year, so technically by default, they're already going to go further than any human before them. I thought it was more than 1.5 inches away per year. I thought it was more than that because they track it. I thought it was like several miles a year, like if not, like.
Administrator Alex, I'm going to just get a quick comm check, make sure you guys are still on the line and we didn't have a handover.
I am. Yes, I am.
And integrity, and back over to you, Mr. President.
Yeah, I think we might have gotten cut off. It is a long distance. It's a long ways.
It's a long distance phone call. Who's paying the bill?
About a 9-second delay, but no, I just had a a statement for, I don't know what you heard, but I was just saying they're very proud of your brilliant person from Canada on the ship. And Wayne Gretzky is a great friend of mine, and he's very proud of him. And the Prime Minister I spoke to, they're very, very honored that you have a courageous person from Canada. You have a lot of courageous people from Canada. So it was very nice. I'm not sure if you heard me say that, but it was very nice.
Yes, Mr. President, we heard that, and we do love our Jeremy Hansen. We love all our Canadian astronauts, Jenny Gibbons, Josh Kutrick. They're just great people, and they're such a welcome addition to our Corps.
Great. Well, I really look forward to, when we can, I look forward to seeing you in the Oval Office. I'll ask Jared to bring you over, and I'll ask for your autograph, because I don't really ask for autographs much, but you deserve that. You really are something. Everybody's talking about this. And I look forward to having you in the Oval Office at the White House, and we will celebrate your incredible achievements and triumphs. This is big. This is really big stuff. The whole world is talking about it. And if you have the time, I will certainly find the time. I've been pretty busy also, as you know, but I will absolutely find the time, and we'll get together, and I'm going to be giving you a big salute on behalf of the American people and beyond that.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. And when you want us, we will be there. And thank you for your leadership. Thank you to Jared for his leadership. Really, thank you for taking the time out today to visit NASA. It's really special for us, but it's really special for the team on the ground. A whole team of people all around the world pulled this off, and we just want to say thank you to all of you for this. It is the thrill and honor of a lifetime to have been on this journey. Today was amazing, but this 3-year journey has been amazing, and it was made possible by the American people and the Canadian people, and we're so grateful to you all. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. And Jared, congratulations. We'll see you soon. And I know that you have Mars very much in your mind, so we'll start thinking about that pretty soon, I think. And thank you. Congratulations to everybody. I'll see you at the Oval Office.
All right.
Thank you for your time, Mr. President. It's been an honor.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Integrity, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants.
All right.
Integrity, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
All right. Awesome. Yay. All right. Okay. Well, that was pretty cool, right? We cut in just as Trump was talking to him. That was pretty good. I missed most of it, but whatever. Is this the best part of being POTUS? I don't know. It's probably tenfold cheaper with inflation today than in '69, given our communication advances since then. Yeah, probably. Yeah. They didn't practice a proper conversational etiquette. No, they didn't. Not at all. They were supposed to go, Roger, over, Roger. Scientists estimate the moon loses about 100 tons of mass every year due to solar wind erosion. And the Earth picks up 40,000 tons, huh? Same thing. I don't know. I think we're good on this, right? So I think we're good on this story. That's what to say. Artemis II flyby moon, historic look at the lunar dark side.
Something that many religions and we wanted to take a minute to commemorate the holiday that we have. This time of year is something that many religions and many cultures hold dear. It's a time of emotions such as joy, as well as solemnness, honoring what's going on both in our world and in our religious beliefs. On board, we did hide a few eggs around the cabin. They were the dehydrated scrambled egg variety, but we're all pretty happy with them.
Birthday to my father, Victor Glover Sr., and happy Easter to everyone down there on Earth. And with that, I will pass it off to Jeremy.
Cool story, bro.
Thanks, Victor. Happy Easter,
Hey,
everyone.
Bill Vick, what's up? Great to see you.
We're talking up here as a crew, and we did want to send a special Easter message on this day. And, no matter your faith or religion, For me, the teachings of Jesus were always a very simple truth of love, universal love. Love yourself.
But it can be exhausting due to that suit being pressurized and expanded, as well as the umbilicals being connected.
Lisa says, you think this is real? Jonah Finn says, back to bombing Iran. What a day. Easter eggs to press conference to rescue meetings, dinner and calling astronauts, and longest distance long call in history. America First says, no, Lisa. He doesn't believe it's real. All right. Okay. So they celebrated Easter up in space. We read all this stuff. They're checking out all the new craters and stuff, looking at stuff. So that's pretty cool. All right. Ooh, we got this story. It says the Artemis astronauts enter an eerie 40-minute communication blackout on the moon's far side. They entered a nerve-wracking communication blackout on Monday evening as the spacecraft slipped behind the moon's far side. Hank says, I think this is far more real than the flat earthers are. NASA and the signal loss should last about 40 minutes. During this unprecedented moment, the crew Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen. He says, it's CGI. If you don't know me, it's okay. Believe me. The blackout occurred after the spacecraft lost sight of the Earth and the moon blocked satellite communications entirely. Contact is expected to return at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time when the Earth reemerges on the other side of the moon's horizon. It's a moment known as Earthrise. Ground control has emphasized that NASA does not anticipate any specific dangers during the mission, but is prepared for potential contingencies. For example, the astronauts recently practiced performing essential tasks such as drinking protein shakes or administering medication while wearing their bulky orange launch and entry suits in case they must remain in the gear for an extended period. Aquanet does amazing things. Yes, it does on the hair, right? So NASA noted that if the spacecraft were punctured, Orion is equipped to continuously pump oxygen to maintain cabin pressure, giving the crew ample time to safely put on their pressurized suits. The Artemis II crew will also reach several major milestones during the blackout, including becoming the first humans to witness never-before-seen views of the moon's far side. Ben J. showed video with the green screen. Okay. So I'm guessing the moon isn't hollow on the backside, hiding all the alien spacecraft. Well, it's hollow all the way around. Absent-minded, how did the mirrors get on the surface for perfect alignment for laser distance measurements? I had a 10-hour interrupt disruption last night. Someone vandalized spectrum lines. Yes, at least she tied it down. Yeah, there you go. The spacecraft is expected to reach its farthest point from Earth at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And plus, I want to point out too that this astronaut, the pilot, Victor Glover, was praised because he said the moon mission is a human history, not black history. So he's based. I could see that guy running for office soon. You know, we've got these other astronauts that were politicians. You know, remember we had John Glenn, we had other people, that were politicians, and not Mark Kelly, the Navy captain. Well, this African American man, Glover, he's going to be in politics. I could see that coming already. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Great to see you. Better than Kelly, yeah, definitely. Just Don Souls Jinder, great to see you. The astronauts are expected to track historic Apollo sites, scout future landing zones, and photograph rare views. So, all right. Oh, well, look at how want to see how the Brits are reporting this? Check this out. This is how the Brits are reporting this. NASA loses contact with the Artemis II capsule just hours after setting historic record. This is how they reported it. NASA loses contact with the Artemis II capsule just hours after setting a historic record. The Orion module was completely unreachable for 40 minutes. They make it sound like nobody knew this was going to happen, that they were all like, you know. Like this, everyone knew this was going to happen. Everyone knew this was going to happen. This wasn't like they didn't lose contact with them. They knew that there was no way to communicate with them because you couldn't see them. And communications, radio waves are line of sight, baby. Line of sight. You know, I mean, the only way to prevent something like this from happening is if we were able to establish like a ring of satellites around the moon that could transmit and bounce signals around the moon. That'd be the only way. They're like repeaters to repeat it around. His name was St. Nicholas. Yes, it was. Who is your favorite flat earther? Like we have technology through the moon. Maybe. All right. So let's do this. I'll bring this up. We'll do this before we jump to the next story. We got a short video from our good friend Alex Jones. So Alex Jones of JP Sears says the Artemis II mission is fake, just like the first time we went to the moon. They say it's all to distract the people and get them to rally around the administration. Shockingly, Alex Jones does believe the Earth is round.
As much lying as we've seen, JP Sears, what the hell do you make of this?
Well, what I see is like, let's rally the goodwill of the nation, just like we did when, in my opinion, we pretended to land on the moon in the, 1969, when, there was the, Russia versus US, and we're going to stage the moon landing to rally the goodwill of the American people behind the current administration. It just feels like I'm watching that kind of thing. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't really feel convinced. Curious how you feel about it.
No, I don't believe any of it. I mean, I know that satellites are there. I know we can shoot a missile down a chimney. I know I can look at planets in my own telescope, seeing them orbiting, so I know we're round. People ask why that is. There's a big bang explosion, and if you're welding, the arcs fall off. By the time they hit the ground, they're solid. They're little balls. So that all makes sense. I believe the Earth's round. I believe we orbit the sun. Mathematics is real. But clearly, what we were told about the Apollo missions is not true.
Yeah,
distractions.
It very much sounds like, hey, American people, we want you to focus on this. What was it, a month or two ago? Trump said we're going to declassify alien files right at the, the intensity of the Epstein stuff.
And then
wow. AJ has gone full tard. I like his guess. Can you really trust a satirist, especially a very good one? I don't know. I mean, the Earth can't be flat. It defies physics. Would have loved to seen the expression on his face when he woke up with his new body. They didn't send Starlinks to the moon before they got there. I'm sure Elon was going to try. Yes. F-Iris says, I'm so sick of the Epstein stuff. Clinton won't be arrested, so who cares? Yeah, who cares? Who cares? An Egyptian plane just flew over my house, releasing Mossad pigeons and maroon t-shirts just as I was eating French toast. Trust me, bro. Anyway, so all right, let's jump on to the next news story of the evening. Barnes called Trump King Lear on Alex Jones today. His hate slide continues. Yeah, it's crazy. It really, really is crazy. Any idiot can stand on a beach and see the curvature of the Earth. Yeah. Clearly, by whose estimation? Okay. Didn't need Starlinks there. Multiple relay satellites, just not all the way back around the back. Okay. Duck Fat, what's up, buddy? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Come on, man. Somebody should interview all of Congress and get their views on the Apollo landings. It might help weed out some of them. It could, right? Really could. So check this out, man. Ron DeSantis inks a bill to expel student supporters of designated terrorist groups. Ron DeSantis on Monday signed a bill that would allow him and other Florida officials to designate certain organizations as terrorist groups and require public universities to expel students found to support them. Barnes needs an MRI, so does Candace. I'm concerned they have brain tumors. It's possible. It really is. It's possible. It's possible. Candace Owens calling for a coup and saying all this stuff and telling people to go. But I mean, all that proves is she's always just been a crazy leftist. Going back to when she was trying to cancel everybody with her cancellation website to track people to cancel them. A spinning mass of gas, which the Earth started out as, always will pull itself into a sphere-like shape. Yep, Tucker too. Half fish. The law grants a senior official at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement the ability to recommend whether a group should be labeled a domestic or foreign terrorist organization, which then must be approved by the governor and 3 other members of the Florida cabinet. Oh, crap. Now I realize what's going on. I forgot to turn my fan on in here. I'm hot. Including the Attorney General, Chief Financial Officer, and the Agricultural Commissioner. Why would the Agriculture Commissioner be in charge of seeing who's a terrorist? Once designated, groups can be dissolved and barred from receiving state funding. Universities also must report students on visas who are expelled under the law to federal immigration authorities. Hello. DeSantis said the measure is intended to protect Floridians and taxpayer dollars from organizations that he views as promoting extremism. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much. We got a 5 over there on the Cash App from the Lurch. Lurch. What's up, Lurch? Thank you so much. So that's from Lurch. Thank you so much, Lurch. So that means we are now $72 away from adding an extra hour to the show and just $22 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. I unfollowed JP when he announced his divorce and started going pro Candace Barnes. Yeah. Barnes said that JD should put Trump under house arrest to stop from using nukes on Iran. Tard, I tell you. Who said anything about nukes? They can't make money being gender fluid. TDS is always good for a few bucks. Yeah. Humans have all sorts of mental problems. 1% of us has schizophrenia. That's the actual data. Yeah. Yeah. The dust is the problem on the moon. Moon dust. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Oh, look at this. Brian goes 20 from Bella. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that. That means we are now 70 away from a extra hour to the show and just 20 away from Bellavision. Thanks, Brian. What happens to any matter once heated to a certain point? It liquefies, and when it cools down, it turns to a solid. That's my point. He's absolutely gone full tard. I hate Michigan. All right. Why? Oh, wow. So I can't read this one. All right. So I guess I have to find a different story about this. So we'll have to go to this one. There we go.
A new Florida law changes what it means to speak out in the state. Today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation that lets the state officially designate groups as domestic terrorist organizations.
Our Capitol Bureau reporter Cody Butler tells us it is raising alarms among some civil liberties groups. This summer, Florida courts won't be able to enforce a religious or foreign law. Governor Ron DeSantis signed the bill aimed at preventing the Islamic code of law known as Sharia law in Florida courts during a news conference Monday.
We have some problems in this country, more than we should, with international terrorism.
The new law also allows the state's chief of domestic security to designate a domestic or foreign terrorist organization. Governor and the cabinet would then have to sign off. DeSantis already named the Council on American Islamic Relations and the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorist organizations in an executive order in December.
We've been very strong in Florida from the beginning on all of this nonsense.
Sorry, I had to turn my fan on.
Whatever we can to keep the people of this state safe.
CARE says in a statement that the new law is an expanded and deeply flawed framework that can attack any organization that dares to dissent.
The point is to make people afraid to talk about certain things and shut out dissenting speech altogether.
The law also bans schools from spending state or federal money to support or promote designated terrorist organizations. The Florida chapter of PEN America's Sophia Brown says this is another way to limit free speech.
We foresee that this will make teachers, faculty, and students scared to cross this unclear line, again, because what it means to support or promote such an organization is defined only sometimes.
A federal judge issued an injunction on the executive order back in March. The law takes effect July 1st. In Tallahassee, I'm Cody Butler reporting.
Yeah, a judge said it's a violation of the First Amendment. Some crazy judge said it's a violation of the First Amendment for you to prevent people from being terrorists or something. It's like, what? Terrorists have a First Amendment right to be terrorists? That's crazy. Hey, Terry for 5 says 15 for Bella. 15 from Bella, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. With that, that's right. That now means we are 65 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. And 15 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. And then Brian comes in with another 5, saying just fine, 10 from Bella. So that means now we are just, my bad. Now we are just 60 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and 10 away from Bellavision. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Renee Collins goes, free Bella, yay! Wow, with that, that means we are now just 50 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you all so much. You're so generous. Yay, Bella. Thank you. Yay. Oh, yeah, Hebrew too. Okay. Barnes is the only X account I have ever had to mute. It's insane how far he's dissolved into a puddle of anti-war rhetoric. I want to know how much he wagered on Polymarket on Iran's regime survival. Yeah, I wonder if Barnes was betting on the soldier not being recovered. Because, they were doing that for a while. They were saying that they were letting people wager on whether or not the guy was going to be rescued until they got, basically from all sides telling him, what are you doing? We have a little story on that. We'll see if we get to it, talking about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's Bella, just chilling. Thank you all so much. Thanks, Renee. Yes, thanks, Renee. Thank you. Hey, KPT, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Ma Bellamy. Big Henry, great to see you. That's right. So they passed this law because originally it was a executive order. The judge said you can't do it, so they passed the law. Now let's see what they're going to do. So the new law allows the state domestic security to designate a domestic or foreign terrorist organization. DeSantis has already named the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, who were unindicted co-conspirators in the Holy Land Foundation trial they were smuggling money to Hamas. We have some problems in this country, more than we should, with international terrorism. DeSantis says, we have been strong in Florida from the beginning on all this nonsense and doing whatever we can to keep the people of the state safe. Yes, our special forces on all level are awesome. You missed Bella last night. Well, I was going to stream last night. I probably should have. I don't know. Wait, is this? Okay, I guess this is another better not be the same video.
A new Florida law changes what it means to speak out in the state. Today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation that lets the state officially designate groups.
Hold on a second. Is this the same
To
video?
enforce a religious or foreign law, Governor Ron DeSantis signed the bill aimed at preventing the Islamic code of law known as Sharia law in Florida courts during a news conference Monday.
Tells us it is.
All right, this is a different one.
Signed legislation that lets the state officially designate groups as domestic terrorist organizations.
Our Capitol Bureau reporter Cody Butler tells us it is raising alarms among some civil liberties groups.
This summer, Florida courts won't be able to enforce a religious or foreign law. Governor Ron DeSantis signed the bill aimed at preventing the Islamic code of law known as Sharia law in Florida courts during a news conference Monday.
We have some problems in this country, more than we should, with international terrorism.
The new law also allows the state's chief of domestic security to designate a domestic or foreign terrorist organization. Governor and the cabinet would then have to sign off. DeSantis already named the Council on American Islamic Relations and the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorist organizations in an executive order in December.
We've been very strong in Florida from the beginning on all of this nonsense and doing whatever we can to keep the people of this state safe.
CARE says in a statement that the new law is an expanded and deeply flawed framework that can attack any organization that dares to dissent.
The point is to make people afraid to talk about certain things and shut out dissenting speech altogether.
The law also bans schools from spending state or federal money to support or promote designated terrorist organizations.
Oh, we already saw it. Okay, so this is a video we already saw.
Sometimes.
This is the same video we already saw. They couldn't get somebody to comb their hair to talk about it? Oh, so this guy from CARE says, we've already been unjustly targeted, most notably when DeSantis falsely labeled CARE as a terrorist without lawful authority or evidence. No, there's evidence. There's evidence that you guys are terrorists. There's clear evidence. Clear as day. The law prevents Florida courts from enforcing a religious or foreign law. DeSantis says the bill's aimed at preventing Islamic code of law known as Sharia in Florida courts. A judge issued an injunction on the executive order in March. This law takes effect July 1st. And we got, it's just another local news thing here. It just says, let's see.
Here's what I want everybody to do. Get out your insurance policy.
Oh, get out your insurance
down
policy.
To the declaration
down to the declaration
page. And see if you have uninsured motorist
See if you have uninsured motorist
coverage.
coverage.
And if you don't, get it.
Get it.
Look, if you want to learn more about
get
this
more
or
about
any
it.
of the things
call
that
this
I
guy.
talk
He's a
about,
great guy.
follow me on social media.
Follow him.
Today, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill into law allowing the state to designate groups as domestic terrorist organizations. Now, this bill backs up a December executive order by DeSantis that named 2 Islamic groups as terrorist organizations. It stops courts from enforcing any provision of a religious or foreign law, an attempt to prevent the use of Sharia law in Florida courts. DeSantis acknowledged that Sharia law isn't practiced in Florida courts, but he says the new state law is intended to keep Florida ahead of the curve.
This will help the state of Florida protect you. It'll help us protect your tax dollars. It'll help us protect things that should not be happening in the United States of America, but certainly shouldn't be happening in the free state of Florida.
Other parts of the bill stop schools affiliated with designated organizations from receiving state K-12 scholarship program money.
Wow, that's crazy. That's nuts. That's just nuts. What the hell? So that's a good law, right? That's a good law they passed, I think. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Could it be? Maybe. I don't know. It helped the state of Florida protect you. Legislation was filed in January in support of DeSantis' order from December. U.S. District Judge Mark Walker issued a preliminary injunction against the order, writing it violated CARE's rights by targeting and threatening those privileged, providing the organization with material support. So terrorists can sue and say, you can't cut off our funding. Wow. What do you know? I didn't know terrorists could sue for that. This is what NBC Miami. DeSantis signs domestic terrorist naming law. This is not.
Swim parallel.
That's not the story. What are you doing? That's not the story. So we see all this. The measure also outlines rules for expelling students from state universities who promote such groups if students' actions can be reasonably interpreted as an actual threat of violence, disrupting the learning environment, infringing upon others' rights, or material support for recruitment for members of the organizations. They can be expelled under a new law. Supposedly it's illegal in Texas too. Jim, have we destroyed the elitist old world ruthless banking enslavers yet? Well, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Verification comes from DC. Yeah. Our house cleaning isn't to be a burden. Yeah. Other parts of the bill bar school affiliated with the designated terrorist organization from receiving K-12 scholarship money. Also, public universities and colleges are prohibited from spending state or federal funds to support programs or campus activities that promote a designated terrorist organization. The proposal was approved in the Republican-controlled legislature by 80 to 25 in the House and 25 to 11 in the Senate. While the legislation was debated, Democrats raised concerns the bill and related public records exemption, blocking documents showing how a terrorist designation is reached, would deprive any group hit with the label of due process. Oh, they just love due process now, don't they? They're always about due process, due process. What about the due process of all the people whose gun rights you Democrats take away all the time? Opponents of the bill also expressed concerns over whether people, especially students on college campuses, could inadvertently be accused of being a member of a terrorist organization and suffer consequences. Oh yeah, just inadvertently. You just tripped and fell into giving money to terrorists. Yeah. All right, yeah. And the AP is, of course, is going to say DeSantis signs Florida law to label groups as terrorists and expel student supporters. All right. Now we're on to the next story here. You cannot erase your Google records. Trump details airman rescue mission as he threatens strikes on Iran's infrastructure. Wait, what the fuck? Where's the story? What? Where's the fucking story, Epoch Times? What is going on here? Okay, I guess they decided to just not even have a story there. Or they just put a fucking headline with no story. Doggo number 2 is trying to take you out tonight. Life is indifferent. What's up? Hi, I made a mistake of calculating what the government spends per second, and I'm angry and disappointed tonight. Yes, you can be. It can be very upsetting. Iran state media, Tehran rejects the latest ceasefire proposal. Iran state-run media, IRNA news agency, says Tehran has rejected the latest ceasefire proposal. Ken Krause says, my Jules' mama is named Isabella. Nuclear bombs will always be because it's the best weapon for fear and enforcing conformity among the serfs. Oh, okay. The report comes shortly before President Trump's deadline for Tehran to open the Strait of Hormuz or see its power plants and bridges attacked. The news agency said Iran has conveyed its response to the U.S. through Pakistan. The Pakistanis. There's a Pakistanis over there. We won't merely accept a ceasefire. Oh, they won't merely accept a ceasefire. Okay, well, I guess you don't want to. Brian says, no nukes. I'm okay with Moab. So, yeah, he's like a 15,000 kiloton regular bomb, right? Or was it 15 kiloton? Something like that. 15. I think it's Moab's a 15 kiloton fuel air bomb or something like that. Oh, Bella's over there singing right now. We only accept an end in a war which guarantees that we won't be attacked again. Well, there's never a guarantee it won't be attacked again. On Strait of Hormuz, the Iranian and Omani officials were working on a mechanism for administrating the shipping choke point. Why? Just don't stop trying to blow up ships going through there. It says Israel struck a key petrochemicals plant at Iran's massive South Pars natural gas field and killed 2 paramilitary Revolutionary Guard commanders. I don't like I don't like that they call it paramilitary. That's their military. Absent Minded said fuel air bombs are essentially nukes by another form. Isabel is number 1 dog's name, Izzy. Okay. The gas field attack aimed at eliminating a major source of revenue for Iran. The field is critical to electricity production, but the strike appeared to be separate from Trump's threats to target power plants and bridges if Iran doesn't reopen the straits to all shipping traffic by Monday night. Iran's grip on the strait has caused oil prices to surge and shake the world economy. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, called the plant Iran's largest petrochemical facility. The gas field shared with Qatar is the world's largest. Iran state media blamed the U.S. and Israel for the attack. Hey, what's up, Doc? Great to see you. Wow, they launched something into space from California. One hell of a rocket trail lit up the sun while it's mostly dark here. What a show. What the hell did they launch up into space from California? I didn't hear anything about it not being a launcher. So was that a Bezos launch or something? The White House did not immediately comment, though Trump was set to speak to journalists Monday afternoon, his first public appearance since Wednesday. He had been relatively quiet during the rescue of the downed U.S. aviators. After Israel's attack on South Pars in March, Trump said Israel would not attack it again, but warned that if Iran continued striking Qatar's energy infrastructure, the United States would massively blow it up. Curiosity killed a cat. Yeah, what's up? Hey, what's up, Derek? Great to see you. Vandenberg, right? Vandenberg Air Force Base. Credit to God, all others pay cash. Falcon 9 rocket. Okay. Israel threatens Iranian officials as meteors trying to buy time. What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? Who knows? Egyptian, Pakistani, and Turkish meteors have sent Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and U.S. Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff a proposal calling for a 45-day ceasefire and the reopening of the strait. 2 Mideast officials told the Associated Press the officials spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private negotiations. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, Ismail Baghali, told journalists that messages are being exchanged with mediators, but negotiations are entirely incompatible with ultimatums, crimes, and threats of war crimes. That's how Carter got the hostages back. Deal to not bomb them. Reagan left the deal in place. Nobody knew he was going to need them later to arm the Contras. Carter didn't get the hostages back. What are you talking about? The hostages didn't come back until Reagan was elected. In Islamabad, 2 senior officials said Pakistan's ceasefire efforts are at the advanced stage, but several spoilers and detractors are trying to sow confusion. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly about the talks. Yes, can you hit that like button? It really helps Bella sleep. It does. It really helps Bella sleep. It really does. It really, really does. Yeah. That's why he was a one-term president. Yes. And Reagan even wasn't involved in the Contras either. Well, that's what they say, that Reagan wasn't directly involved. He didn't know about it. It was other people below him that were just trying to do what they thought Reagan wanted to help the people down there. Taxation without representation is our status quo. Carter didn't do anything. Carter at least tried. The machines failed, so their mission was canceled. They did try to send, yes, they did. It was what, Operation Eagle Claw or something like that. They sent planes in. They crashed in the desert. We lost some helicopters and stuff, and some people died. I think some Green Berets or someone died, or Delta Force or something. My thumb up was 69. Well, thank you. Was the CIA? Yeah. That was because of the Israel lobby. Okay. Meanwhile, explosions boomed in Tehran, and low-flying jets could be heard for hours. Among those killed was the head of intelligence for Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, Major General Majid Kademi, according to Iranian state media and Israel's defense minister. Israel said it also killed the leader of the Guard's undercover unit in its expeditionary Quds force. Quds force. Yes. Just looked it up. More Starlink satellites. I guess tonight was just a perfect time, right at dusk, to really highlight the heck out of it. Carter offered peanuts. Our choppers couldn't handle the sand back then. Choppers crashed into a plane. Yeah. Hey, look at Sadin miscarriage. Or rim. Lol. Yeah, rancid peanuts. Yeah. The defense minister vowed to keep targeting top-ranking officials. We will continue to hunt them down one by one. I don't know. That's a risky proposition, because what you're doing is you're saying that it's perfectly fine to target your top people too. Just saying. I mean, that's what they're signaling. So Israel's military later said it struck 3 Tehran airports overnight: Bahram, Madrabad, Ajmayash, hitting dozens of helicopters and aircraft it said belonged to the Iranian Air Force. A Tehran resident said constantly there's the sound of bombs, air defenses, drones, speaking on a condition of anonymity for her safety. At least one recent attack hit near her home, waking her. Wake up! Break up! Break up! Separately, Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia activated air defenses to intercept Iranian missiles and drones. Tehran has kept up pressure on Gulf neighbors, which has included strikes on their infrastructure like oil fields. In Israel, Iranian missiles hit the northern city of Haifa, where 4 people from one family were found dead in the rubble of a residential building. Oil prices unsettled as pressure grows. I just watched a story about Hoover, then we had Bush. Eagle Claw was doomed before it started. Give me liberty or give me debut. Okay. Jim, Iran threatens top officials all the time, but they fundamentally are cowards and weak, so no action, just hot air. I wasn't just talking about Iran. Do you think we will see strikes tomorrow, or is it pressure points? Well, I will say this. You can't keep making threats without following through. That's what everybody was mad at Obama about with the red lines in Syria, where he kept moving the red line to do something about the phony gas attacks that John McCain and other people were lying about, the barrel bombs out of helicopters and stuff. So you can't keep making threats and not following through. If you say, if you don't do this by this date, this is going to happen, and then you don't do it, nobody has any reason to ever believe you again. When you say, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. So really, in reality, if the Strait of Hormuz is not open by tomorrow or later today or whatever, I don't know. Because they said Tuesday, but did they mean Tuesday Iranian time or Tuesday our time? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Iran is actually is ahead of us. There will be Iran saying whatever to buy time, or there will be bombings. Yeah. 9 Eastern time Tuesday. Liberal said, I could have gone to war, but I ran. I ran so far away, I couldn't get away. Bom, 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 bom. It didn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Okay. Obama and Biden speak. Brent crude oil, the international standard, rose to 109 in early Monday spot trading, about 50% higher than when the war started. Then wavered. U.S. stocks were mostly holding steady. Under pressure at home as consumers worry, Trump has warned Iran that if no deal is reached to reopen the strait, the U.S. would hit power plants and other infrastructure and set the country back to the Stone Age. You think we discuss our plans? No, never. Don't discuss the plans. Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up into one. But the president could say what he was going to do, and nobody could do anything about it if he says, this is what I'm going to do. Now stop me. That's kind of like Babe Ruth calling his shot to the outfield. Trump has given multiple deadlines to Iran. See, this is a problem. Is this the year of rocking the Casbah? Isn't it just rock the Casbah? Rock the Casbah. Sharif, he don't like it. Rock the Casbah. Rock the Casbah. Early fireworks, yeah. Is they on the way? Trump has given multiple deadlines to Iran, and that could expire Monday night, Washington time, though he also posted Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, without elaborating. So he's pushed it back again? He's got to stop pushing it back, man. Former Iranian Foreign Minister Ali Akbar Velteri urged Arab countries to discourage Trump from striking power plants, warning on social media that the entire region would go dark if that happens. Oh, okay. Following Trump's expletive-laced post Sunday, Iran's paramilitary speaker Mohammed Bagher Khalifah called the threats of targeting the infrastructure reckless. It's all reckless. Oh, damn it, Dave is going to be in Michigan. None were red lines in the sand, though. Okay. Doubt it. I thought I saw people on Twitter complaining that Trump started early. Arabs have their own grids. Yes. Are you related to the New Bold family? I don't know what that means. They won a national championship. Iran has let some vessels through the strait since the war began, but none belonging to those countries are ones perceived as helping them. Some have paid Iran for passage, but the flow of traffic is down more than 90% over the same period last year. Yeah, we got a bunch of people who are supposed to be our allies making deals with Iran behind the scene to bring their shit through. What's it say? Iran supplies power to other countries. Really? Really? Felzu said, hey, thanks for being a sin-free alternative. Have the money I used to give to Joe. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for the 5. I didn't know that sin was on Joe on Monday nights. That's odd. With that, we are now just 45 away from adding an extra hour to the show, which could be 1 extra hour, or could be multiple hours, because the way the show works is for every $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Runnable Rants, gifted membership, becoming members, Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, Super Tips, you name it, Kick, Twitch, memberships, locals, coins. We add it all up, and we hit 100. We add an extra hour, and then for every 100, it's an additional extra hour. A few bombed electrical substations should be enough to send a message. Beyond every wealthy woman is a divorce lawyer. Welcome aboard. Eastman Farms, what's up, buddy? Peace. How you doing? Great to see you. Airstrikes kill more than 25 across Iran. Thick smoke rose near Tehran's Azadi Square after an airstrike hit the grounds of Sharif University in technology. Multiple countries have sanctioned the university for its work with the military, particularly on Iran's ballistic missile program. So here's the thing. If that school is where they're developing the ballistic missiles and they're doing work on the ballistic missiles program, that's not really a war crime or nothing like that. That's a military target. Kingdom come, I will be done on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We give those who trespass against us. Falzu says, I'm pro sending Persia back in time. Back in time. Wanted to be free and don't know what to do now. Okay. Hey, Brian Ogden says, gifted 1. Jim tells you membership. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means that we are now just $39 away, just $39 away from adding a first extra hour to the show. Hopefully this Iran mission ends NATO, thanks to members not helping us, sans a few countries that can afford to say no help for you from us. Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be something. I think it's going to be something. It says that Diamond G received a gifted membership from Brian Ogden. Wow. That's right. Wait, did I get that right? I did. Okay. Nice, Brian. Thank you. Hey, young fella, what's up? Thank you. You're welcome. Awesome. Aragachi, domo arigato, Mr. Aragachi, called the university the MIT of Iran. Says aggressors will see our might. Iranian media reported damage to the buildings and a natural gas distribution site next to campus. The university is empty as the war forced all schools into online classes. Yes, dump NATO now, dump UN tomorrow. I agree. I concur. A strike near Eslamshar, southwest of Tehran, killed at least 15 people. 5 were killed in a residential area in Qam, and 6 were killed in strikes on other cities. the state-run Iran daily newspaper reported. 3 people were killed at a home in Tehran, state television reported. Is the J.D. Vance ceasefire story accurate? I don't know what story you're talking about. UN should not be in a commie-run state. Yeah. In Lebanon, where Israel has launched air attacks and a ground invasion that says target the Iran-linked Hezbollah militia, an airstrike hit an apartment in Ain Sayada and a predominantly Christian town east of Beirut. It killed an official in the Lebanese forces. Christian political party strongly opposed to Hezbollah. We always felt safe here. More than 1,900 people have been killed in Iran since the war began, but the government has not updated their toll for days. More than 1,400 people have been killed in Lebanon, and more than 1 million people have been displaced. 11 Israeli soldiers have died there. In Gulf Arab states and occupied West Bank, more than 24 people have died, while 23 have been reported dead in Israel, and 13 U.S. service members have been killed. Wow. Wessert reported from Washington and Magni from Cairo. Okay. There are 2 kinds of people, living and dead, of corpse. WTTW used to be the network in Chicago that you would watch to see like Sesame Street. It was the PBS station, the network for public broadcasting. NPR or NPB, whatever it was. National NPR, I don't know. President Donald Trump on Monday expanded his threats against Iran to include power plants and bridges in his ultimatum to make a deal closer. Yes. Hank says, my cats are saying it's bedtime, so good night, people. Well, Hank, thank you for being here. Trump said the entire country can take it out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. The U.S. has told Iran to open the crucial Strait of Hormuz. Tehran said it rejected its own and has a 10-point plan to end the war. Okay. Trump widens a threat to all of the power plants and bridges. Supreme Court sets oh shit. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, all right, I will do this story. Fuck it. Supreme Court sets stage for Steve Bannon's contempt case to be dismissed. That's right. Says, will Massey's friend Ro Khanna turn on him if the Dems take the House? Yeah, they're not friends. Schumer's bio title, Get Behind Me and Stay There. Wow, Ank is talking cats. It's amazing. Hold on, I got to grab a drink real quick. I can't believe I drank a whole tea. Can't believe I drank a whole tea already. So the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday cleared the path for the dismissal of the contempt of Congress charges against former Trump White House strategist Steve Bannon. Jonah Finn says, the UN is not part of New York State. It's an extraterritorial international district governed by a special agreement between the UN and the U.S. government. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? Brian, thank you. I wish the two parties would work together more, but I sure don't trust Khanna. Well, here's the thing to remember, Jason. Anytime they work together, we get screwed. They just figure out ways to screw us. Senate, probably we will lose. We're not going to lose the Senate. We're not going to lose the Senate. Where are Democrats going to win? Montana? West Virginia? North Carolina, doubtful. Iowa, very doubtful. Texas, no way. The map is not favorable. There's no seats up in Pennsylvania. There's no seats up in, Ohio. There's no seats up in any place that they might have a chance. They're not going to win in Kentucky. Yep. 1/3 of you haven't hit the like. Please do. Senate is stymie. Well, Bannon was tormented by the radical left, communist, and deep state actors who targeted thousands of Trump supporters and conservatives following the 2020 stolen election. Bannon refused to honor a subpoena from the sham committee investigating the January 6th attack and later served a 4-month prison sentence. The wildly popular political firebrand served 4 months behind bars for contempt of Congress after refusing to testify before the House committee investigating the January 6th protests. He was widely considered to be a political prisoner. War Room reporter Jane Zirkle posted this about Steve's release from prison back in October 2024. Steve's daughter, Maureen, greeted him upon his release. Yes, nobody truly trusts Ro Khanna. No. On Monday, the Supreme Court paved the way for the dismissal of his contempt case. The court did not explain its decision. There were no noted dissents. In a brief order, the court noted that the Trump Justice Department has moved to drop the indictment against Steve Bannon and return the case to a lower court for dismissal. Bannon, who served as President Trump's chief White House strategist during the Trump's first term, served a 4-month prison term after being found guilty on contempt charges. A jury found Bannon guilty on 2 counts of contempt of Congress for defying a subpoena to testify. In addition to serving prison time, Bannon paid a $6,500 fine. We don't have the Senate now. UN remains under U.S. sovereignty and jurisdiction in a broader sense. It's not a separate country or sovereign state, but rather a special status diplomatic zone or international territory in New York City. All the Dems in California are evil. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Supreme Court clears way for dismissal of contempt case against Bannon. I mean, this is... The High Court granted Bannon's petition an unsigned order. The court did not explain its order. No justices dissented. Supreme Court sent the case back to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit for further consideration, as that court considers a pending motion to dismiss the indictment. Bannon, an ally of President Trump who served in the first Trump White House, was already convicted in prison for 4 months in 2024 in a contempt case, but both Bannon and the Trump administration now want the case to be thrown out. Bannon has been convicted by a federal jury in the nation's capital on 2 counts of contempt. Well, getting convicted, if you're a Republican in any way, shape, or form, or support Trump in any way in the District of Columbia, it's like, it's that's a foregone conclusion. It's just the way it is. Let's actually get the Senate in November 53 with the rhinos. Yeah. At the time of the breach, Congress was in the process of certifying the results of the 2020 election. Joe Biden was inaugurated on January 20th. Bannon had said the committee's investigation and the charges later brought against him by the Biden administration were politically motivated. At the sentencing hearing, prosecutor J.P. Cooney said Bannon opted to thumb his nose at Congress, adding that Bannon was not above the law, and that's what makes this case important. Do you remember when a guy named Eric Holder told Congress to go fuck themselves about Fast and Furious and wouldn't come to talk? When did he go to jail? When did Eric Holder go to jail for telling Congress to go pound sand? Oh, he didn't. That's right. The Supreme Court turned away Bannon's request to delay his imprisonment while the appeal played out. He served the sentence and was released a week before Trump beat then Vice President Kamala Harris. Bannon filed a petition with the court in October 2025 asking the justice to throw out his conviction that were made under 2 U.S.C. Section 192, the criminal contempt of Congress statute. The petition said the law is the only federal criminal statute which willful means guilty mind. And the legal term meaning criminal intent requires merely intentional conduct. In that law, Congress criminalized willfully defaulting on a legally authorized congressional subpoena. The D.C. Circuit found that willful willfully required only intentional conduct, which meant that the government did not have to prove that subpoena recipient understood the conduct was unlawful. As I remember, Brian Rove refused to testify and no one held him in contempt. Yeah. Executive privilege is executive for a reason. Yes, Holder, grrr, that's right, he sucked. 3 circuit court judges dissented from the court's May 2025 ruling, finding that the interpretation was inconsistent with 150 years of case law, violated basic rules of legal interpretation, and would seriously harm the separation of powers. The separation of powers is a constitutional doctrine that divides the government into 3 branches to prevent any single branch from accumulating too much power. Supreme Court's longtime position is in that criminal context, to prove willfulness, the government must demonstrate the individual knew that his conduct was unlawful. Congress conspicuously omitted willfully when they criminalized different sets of actions. The use of 2 different mens rea requirements demonstrate that willfully was meant to impose a heightened standard. The petition said Bannon relied on good faith of his attorney's advice to delay complying with the subpoena until executive privilege disputes were resolved, as they had previously been on 3 prior occasions involving his testimony. Even though he was advised he was acting lawfully, Bannon was indicted, and the federal district court prevented him from presenting evidence or argument to the jury about his reliance on his attorney's advice or on executive privilege. Yeah, so they just fucking railroaded him. Just railroaded him. The Department of Justice filed a brief in February supporting Bannon's petition. The government has determined in its prosecutorial discretion that dismissal of this criminal case is in the interest of justice. The government has filed a motion with the federal district court in which Bannon was convicted, asking the indictment be dismissed with prejudice. The brief said a dismissal with prejudice means the same charges cannot be refiled. Bannon has other legal challenges. In February 2025, he entered a guilty plea in New York State court charges of deceiving donors in a private fundraising effort to complement Trump's proposal to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. Bannon was not sentenced to incarceration. At the end of his first term, Trump pardoned Bannon after he and 3 others were involved in a campaign to build barriers along the southern border, but were accused of keeping some of the money that they raised. Bannon entered a not guilty plea and said the charges were political hit job. So I wonder what that thing was. I wonder. Ken Krause says, "Shut up. You will own nothing and be happy." Irks me they took Bannon's case, but not Alex Jones' case, which was way worse. Yeah. Like the Alex Jones case, oh my Lord. Alex Jones got screwed. Screwed, man. And with that case, that screws all the rest of us too. Because if they could do that to Alex Jones, they can do that to any of us. Supreme Court set stage for DOJ to toss criminal case against Steve Bannon.
Who doesn't like what you say, but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence, doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. Oh, you know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have.
We're working on
alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition.
We'll see what the definition of term.
We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
All right. Well, so you're talking.
Oh, he's being funny. He's trying to be funny. Supreme Court removed the key hurdle Monday and set the stage for the Justice Department to toss out the charges against Steve Bannon. Bannon already did jail time after being convicted for contempt of Congress. In its order list on Monday, the High Court agreed to vacate the appeals court ruling upholding his conviction against Bannon and kick the case back to the district court judge in D.C. The order to grant Bannon a writ of certiorari and send the case to lower courts for review did not list any dissents, which is typical for decisions of that nature. Bannon, who now hosts the podcast The War Room, had been convicted on 2 counts of contempt of Congress. Person in my driveway. Huh? Hold on a second. That's like Waltz 2028, yeah? Yeah, Bannon didn't take a cruise on his yacht and laugh with the media about it. Trump administration claimed it concluded its prosecutorial discretion dismissal of the criminal case in the interest of justice. Bannon's legal team contended in court documents that the former White House advisor wasn't willfully ignoring the House subpoena, but rather following his attorney's advice against complying and until the courts worked through Trump's claims of executive privilege. Bannon argued he should be allowed to explain his reliance on counsel's advice and on executive privilege, but he was precluded from presenting such a defense at trial, which is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. His legal team told the Supreme Court that it was a crucial flaw, which it would be. It would be a crucial flaw. It would be a crucial flaw, all right, to not let him actually make defenses, which, like some of these other cases, like the one about I'm trying to think of the guy's name in New York. The one that Dexter Taylor got convicted for making his own guns, and then the judge said, "Don't talk about the Second Amendment; it doesn't exist in this courtroom." What? Like, how is that not immediately overturned? Well, I think it would be hilarious to watch leftist heads explode if Trump got a third term. I don't want it to happen. Yeah, Bella is so cute. Yes, she is. Freedom Chain, what's up? Hello, and God bless our awesome soldiers. USA all the way. Thank you. Yes, we are here. Bella is extremely cute. Federal Appeals Court previously slapped down similar assertions that Bannon's team made in a last-ditch effort to avoid jail time back in 2024. The court cited precedent, and the Supreme Court declined an emergency appeal from Bannon to get out of jail time behind bars. Like Bannon, Navarro has raised executive privilege concerns and was shot down by the courts. Others, such as former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and then social media director Dan Scavino, also faced contempt of Congress votes. But the Justice Department declined to bring contempt of Congress charges against either Meadows or Scavino during the Biden administration. The criminal contempt of Congress case against Bannon never should have been brought. It was brought by the Biden Justice Department solely for political purposes, said Bannon's attorney, David Schoen. David Schoen, wait a minute. Isn't Schoen that name sounds like a Democrat guy. David Schoen. And I don't know if maybe there's a guy that's on the news all the time that's David Schoen too. The prosecution undermined the constitutionally important principles of separation of powers once executive privilege was invoked by the president. So what about these other people? Is Navarro's case going to get tossed then? Hopefully Jones can use his exclusion of evidence towards his right to defend himself in cases. Something. I don't know. Something. Bill Gates' hidden affair? Are they saying Bill Gates is having a hidden affair with Greta? Is that Greta Thunberg? What? Bill Gates is having an affair with Greta Thunberg? What? Is that what that's what it looks like? So anyway, and then on to the next story here. It says Iran says it will retaliate if civilian infrastructure is targeted amid Trump deadline. Oh, okay. They're going to retaliate. It's not fluid. Early Sunday, President Trump warned that the United States would launch strikes on infrastructure if the strait isn't reopened. Hold on a second. Where are we at here? Okay. Sorry. I got sidetracked. Cool. All right. Miss Hacker wrote the book on cute. Yeah. So Iranian officials on Sunday said the country would carry out more forceful attacks on targets if the United States or Israel target the country's civilian infrastructure. Well, they're not targeting the civilian infrastructure. They're targeting your infrastructure that has dual use for military and civilian purposes. Trump, in several warnings on Saturday and Sunday, said the Iranian regime must reopen the strait or the U.S. military would launch attacks on the country's civilian infrastructure. Now, he didn't say civilian infrastructure. He said on these bridges and stuff. They deserve each other, Greta and Bill. Yeah. On Sunday, Trump warned that Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one. And there'll be nothing like it. He demanded the regime open up the strait. Trump extended his previous deadlines for reopening the strait after reporting progress towards ending the war. Since the start of conflict, the strait has been effectively shut down, which has driven up oil prices worldwide. Worldwide. The IRGC said that any future attacks on infrastructure would launch more severe retaliatory strikes. Oh, okay. Hey, Downtown DCat, what's up? Great to see you. Bella looks so comfortable and cute. If attacks on civilian facilities are repeated, the next phase of the operation will be more intense and broader in scope. Iran has been attacking civilian facilities the entire time. They've been attacking ships that have nothing to do with nothing. They've attacked desalination plants. They attacked power plants, gas fields. So what? On Sunday morning, Iran's speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, appeared to respond to Trump's message saying, and your reckless moves are dragging the United States into a living hell for every single family, and the whole region is going to burn. Well, you want to talk about a whole... So he's threatening with nuclear weapons? This Iranian? There's the only way the whole region would burn is if you had a nuclear weapon. The only real solution is respecting the rights of the Iranian people and ending this dangerous game. No, we want to protect the rights of the Iranian people. Supposedly, we gave guns to the Kurds to give to the people that were protesting, and the Kurds stole them. Yeah, I just heard that today. Iran only negotiates to buy time, always have. It's how we got here. Yes, you're right, 100%. The Strait will never return to its former state, especially for America and Israel, says the IRGC Navy commander. Oh, him and what Navy? Because he has none. How come I had to go to the bank to find out about the cartel leader and the riots afterwards? No one talking about it? What are you talking about? What cartel leader and the riots afterwards? Last I heard was like months ago, KBT. Trump's Monday deadline centers on a glowing alarm over Iran's grip on the Strait. Yeah, dirty bombs are still possible. Yes, they are. But if they use a dirty bomb, we know what comes after that, right? They use a dirty bomb. Is it something new, KBT? Something that just happened with a cartel leader? Because like a month, it was like several weeks ago. Oh, last month. Oh, we talked about it here last month, KPT. On this very show, we talked about the cartel leader that got taken out and that the riots that were like basically going on in Mexico. Iran has threatened to attack civilian infrastructure in nearby countries in the region, claiming it is being used to fuel the U.S. military operations. Oman's foreign ministry said the deputy foreign minister and experts from Iran and Oman met to discuss proposals to ensure a smooth transition through the Strait. Oman has often served as a mediator between the U.S. and the Iranian regime. Egypt said their foreign minister, Badr al-Baghdadi, had spoke on the phone with U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Iranian foreign minister Abbas Araghchi, as well as with Turkish and Pakistani counterparts. Oh, yeah. Okay, Pat Hacker says, I remember hearing about it on a few channels on YouTube. This one for sure. Pakistan's foreign ministry said it conveyed to Araghchi that Islamabad supports all efforts aimed at de-escalation. Islamabad has said that it would soon host talks between the U.S. and Iran. Just remember that Islamabad was where they found Osama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden. Threats come as Trump announced that a U.S. service member who was missing since Iran shot down a fighter jet on April 3rd had been rescued after a U.S. search and rescue operation following the crash of an F-15E Strike Eagle jet. Iran had promised a reward for anyone who found the pilot. A second crew member was located earlier. Well, the pilot was rescued first. This was the Wizzo, the weapons officer, that was rescued a second. So the pilot was already rescued. Shitty story. In April, they did burn effigies of politicians for Easter. Cool. It didn't get any coverage in U.S. media. No, it didn't. The jet was the first U.S. military aircraft to have crashed in Iranian territory since the conflict started in late February. In March, Kuwaiti officials said that several U.S. military aircraft were shot down in a friendly fire incident. One of the first bombs to hit Saudi Arabia or Oman was reported to have a radioactive signature, but that report quickly died out. You egress, it's not the same landing. Here's a bright Abart says Trump warns Iran open the effing Strait or face bombing on Tuesday. Blunt, unambiguous, and straight to the point. That was President Donald J. Trump on Sunday morning as he warned Iran of the perils that lie ahead if it fails to open the Strait of Hormuz on Tuesday. He made his declaration in an expletive-laden post on his Truth Social account, warning bombing of vital infrastructure is sure to follow. Trump's exhortation followed a successful U.S. Special Operations Forces rescue that retrieved the second crew member from a downed F-15E fighter jet in Iran after a heavy firefight. They extracted both airmen and all rescue personnel from the country. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day, Bridge Day, all wrapping up in one in Iran. There'll be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards. Or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, wrote the president. Or weekend farm has no electricity and no Wi-Fi, so I missed stuff. Oh, okay. Our farm, bump, bump, has no electricity. Our farm, boom, boom, has no Wi-Fi. You can see our farm, bottom. Trump's public warning came hours after he threatened to rain down hell on Iran. You called in the thunder, now reap it. Unless they open the key waterway. Further pointing out that the U.S. had already terminated many of its military leaders. Pilot is always second. He said in a separate post on Saturday morning, remember when I gave you 10 days to make a deal or open up the strait? Time's running out. 48 hours before all hell rains down on you. Glory be to God. Lucky number 7 says, nice job, Jim. Best reading of it yet. It's also possible that what Iran hit was into nuclear research. Yes, it's possible the Saudis were looking at some nuclear stuff. Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And this is a CN or CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporations. They're going to tell us what to make of Trump's threats as his Iran deadline looms. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be Tuesday. Yes, it might be Tuesday. Could be Wednesday. Could be Tuesday. Could be Monday. Could be Tuesday. Could be one day. Someday. Any day. Capabilities of retaliation. Yes, there is. U.S. President Donald J. Trump has escalated his threats to bomb power plants and bridges in Iran if the Islamic regime doesn't quickly agree to a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. During a White House news conference that lasted more than an hour, President Trump stood by his latest deadline, 8 p.m. Eastern Time Tuesday, for Tehran to lift the shipping blockade it imposed after the U.S. and Israelis launched a war at the end of February. Here's a look at key statements Trump made about the looming deadline and what he is threatening to do if Iran does not comply. What is Trump threatening to do? What is he threatening to do? He said, we have a plan because of our power of our military where every bridge in Iran will be decimated, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, never be used again. Why it matters. Trump is threatening a significant expansion of military operations, combat operations. Until now, the U.S. and Israeli strikes have largely targeted Iran's military capabilities. Well, you can't have military capabilities without power. We have 3 carrier groups there. Yeah, it's going to be epic. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said Monday's barrage against Iran will be the largest since the first day of the conflict and warned that the number of strikes would rise further on Tuesday ahead of the deadline. Then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely because this president does not play around, Hegseth said. Danny Sertrinowicz, a former Israeli intelligence operative, predicts that Iran will not back down even if the U.S. heavily strikes its infrastructure. Okay. The United States lacks a credible military option that can force Iran into submission, Sertrinowicz said on X. The assumption that pressure alone can break Tehran is not strategy. It's wishful thinking. What he said, no, not at all, Trump said when a reporter asked whether he was concerned that hitting civilian infrastructure could constitute a war crime. Trump said the U.S. could achieve complete demolition of Iran's power plants and bridges in just 4 hours. Elizabeth Shackelford, a former U.S. diplomat, says that there is little point debating what she called a legal minutia of whether such attacks would violate the Geneva Convention. Trump is clearly communicating his will to commit a war crime, Shackelford said. He's saying this, I believe, in an attempt to kind of threaten Iran back to the table. Canadian press is taking Trump literally, not seriously, apparently. Never take Trump literally. Yes, literally. Trump shut down further questioning from the New York Times reporter who asked about the potential violation of U.S. and international law, ordering him to be quiet and dismissing him as fake. He also declined to rule out targeting clearly civilian infrastructure such as schools. Oh my God. Is the Strait of Hormuz Trump's red line? We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me, and part of that deal is we want free traffic of oil and everything else. G. Sharkman says 85 watching, 85 likes. Well, we were up to 117 watching at one point in time, so it would have been nice if we had 117 likes, just saying. Trump has flip-flopped multiple times over the past week on whether Iran must reopen the strait as a condition of the U.S. to stop its bombing campaign. I would say it's a very big priority, he said. Last week, Trump appeared to shrug off responsibility for the narrow waterway at the mouth of the Persian Gulf, saying the U.S. was not going to have anything to do with making it safe for commercial shipping because his country doesn't need it. Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it, man. We don't need it. We don't need no sticking barges. Barges. We don't need no sticking barges. Then on Sunday, he warned Iran in an expletive-filled social media post to open the effing strait or live in hell. Trump is being diplomatic, yes. Teddy Roosevelt had a saying, remember, speak softly but carry a big stick, which meant he'll try to talk to you nicely, but if you don't listen, you're going to get whacked by the big stick. Trump has, speak loudly and carry an aircraft carrier. Barnes is calling for the 25th Amendment, saying he should pretend to be president. What? Before the war began, roughly 20% of global supplies of crude oil and liquefied natural gas passed through the strait, most of it bound for Asian countries. It's virtually a closure has triggered sharp increases in oil prices worldwide and pushed the average price of gasoline in the U.S. up nearly 40 cents. 40 cents, they say. Nearly 40 cents. Wow. The entire country can be taken out one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Didn't they want to know Trump's plans? He's just communicating his plans. Yes. On March 21st, Trump gave them a 48-hour ultimatum to open the strait. On March 23rd, he gave them 5 more days. On March 26th, he gave them 10 more days. This weekend, he abruptly extended the deadline to Tuesday without offering a clear reason. I mean, this is an issue, I think. You don't want to keep giving him more time. He told Monday's news conference that it would be inappropriate to launch attacks the day after Easter because I want to be a nice person. And they could just be waiting to get certain things in position. We have active, willing participant on the other side. They would likely be able to make a deal. Sorry. Why it matters. While a ceasefire agreement would only be a logical first step towards ending the war, it is far from clear that Tehran is willing to accept the terms set up by the U.S. We have to see if they accept the terms or not, Got to see. One way or another. We got to get you. We got to get you. We don't want to sacrifice any person. That's right. Yeah, every word is literally figurative and figuratively literal. It's all about context. Yes, it is. Shortly after the news conference, Iran's state-run INRA news agency reported Monday that the regime had rejected the latest proposals. Well, that's the smartest thing you could do is just say, we reject them. I'm being facetious. It's not the smartest thing they can do. We got this. Trump lashes out at paper tiger NATO while re-upping Greenland claim. President Trump lashed out on Monday at NATO allies who did not support the United States in the war in Iran and reiterated his desire to annex Greenland. I mean, what they're doing with the bases that we built and maintained, the bases in Italy and Spain and the UK and France and Turkey, what they're doing with those, refusing to let us use the bases that we bought and paid for and have maintained for years, is insane. So that's why we need Greenland, because we can't have them saying, like when the Russians or whoever is going through the pass above it, to get into the Arctic and stuff, if we say like, oh, well, you can't go there because we don't want to give you permission. That's why we have to have it. Trump's remarks came ahead of a visit by the Defense Alliance's chief, Mark Rutte, scheduled for later this week. Look, we went to NATO. I didn't ask very strongly. I just said, hey, if you want to help, great. No, we will not help, Trump said he was told, while not saying who he spoke to. Trump went on to say NATO members had actually gone out of their way to not help. The alliance is a paper tiger. Putin's not afraid of it. Yeah. Secretary General Mark Rutte, who called Trump a great person, is expected in Washington this week. On Wednesday, he will hold talks with Trump, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Secretary of War, the alliance said Friday. The remarks mark the latest dust-up between Trump and the alliance. The alliance. Trump has made it no secret of his desire to annex Greenland, controlled by a NATO ally, Denmark, which has been strongly resisted by the alliance. Discussing his displeasure with NATO, Trump said it all began with, if you want to know the truth, Greenland. We want Greenland, Trump said. They don't want to give it to us. And I said, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Trump also criticized other traditional non-NATO allies, including South Korea, Australia, and Japan, for not assisting with the Iran war. Ken Krause is 904 there. Trump praised Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, for their support during the conflict. All right, we're going to jump to this story real quick, like this. Look at this. Trump proposes to cut 9,400 TSA workers, $1.5 billion from the budget. White House is proposing to cut more than 9,400 workers and just over $1.5 billion from the 60,000 employee Transportation Safety Administration. Wow. 60,000 TSA people? Wow. President Trump on Friday proposed requiring smaller airports to drop TSA and use private security as a first step to privatizing the agency created after September 11th, 2001. Holy shit, it's 25 years ago. The White House said privatizing the smaller airports would cut the TSA payroll by more than 4,500 jobs. The TSA proposes to cut another 4,800 jobs by improving efficiency, ending staffing at exit lanes, and eliminating redundancies. I mean, that's just nuts, isn't it? Nuts. The only reason the 25th wasn't used on Biden was because Kamala was next in line. Using it successful with Trump means Vance is next. That makes you ask questions. Yeah. It does. It makes you ask questions. All right, on to this next story now. This is Pennsylvania, PA jails earn millions of dollars detaining, it says immigrants, but we're going to say illegal aliens for ICE. Illegal aliens for ICE. Spotlight PA is an independent, nonpartisan. All right. A group of Pennsylvania counties has billed the federal government more than $21 million in recent years to detain aliens in their jails. The first of its kind review by Spotlight PA has found. Ken Krause says, I want to know more about Blanche's progress. The need for instant gratification is overwhelming in America today. It is. Isn't that Greta on the Dutch Boy paint can? It could be. While these agreements predate the second Trump administration by years or even decades, they are receiving new attention as the president executes mass deportation campaign and relies heavily on local partners. They also highlight how counties in Pennsylvania already cooperate with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, ICE, and other federal agencies to detain illegal aliens. Earlier this year, the Department of Homeland Security purchased 2 Pennsylvania warehouses to turn them into detention centers capable of holding 9,000 people collectively. Cool. Sounds cool to me. In those cases, the local and county lawmakers said they were blindsided by the planned facilities, which they had limited power to block. The detention agreements involving jails that Spotlight PA has identified require the backing of elected county leaders, prison oversight boards, or both. 5 county jails have or recently have agreements with the federal immigration agencies, sometimes for months in exchange for significant fees. Clinton, Erie, Franklin, and Pike counties collectively charged more than $21 million for detention in 2024-2025 invoices obtained by Spotlight PA show. A 5th county, Cambria, has a similar detention agreement, although, according to federal records and county officials, that they denied Spotlight PA's September 2025 request seeking payment information because ICE did not start sending detainees to jail until later in the month. Wow. That's just crazy. Anyway. Local government officials in favor of the agreements told Spotlight PA that the revenue generated supports services such as county jail or general fund expenses. You're always going to have pushback one way or the other, but we have real experience to this point. Commissioner Scott Hunt said, this is establishment that has gone back many years. This relationship has gone back many years. So I realize the emotions are kind of flared now, but this is something that we've been part of for years, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't continue. Crazy, right? All right, everybody. Well, it's 12:10. We went an extra 10 minutes over. We didn't hit the goal. We're not going to hit the goal tonight. So we're $39 away. So vote red, Pat. That's right. You can turn around with a new governor. So I would just say that we will call it Kavitz for the evening. Kavitzing. How does a blind person know when they're done wiping? I don't know. Maybe they smell it. I don't know. Woo! I don't know. So I want to thank everybody who's here. Please remember to hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And come on back tomorrow. I'm going to try tomorrow's Tuesday. I'm going to make an attempt tomorrow to be able to start early. And possibly, hopefully, if I start early at like 7, I could get Robert Gavea to raid me again, which would be awesome if he could do it. I'm going to see if I can work that out. If not, it'll be a later show. But I want to thank everybody who's here. Please remember to hit like, please subscribe, and come on back tomorrow for Jim to tell you the news.